Hey everybody, thought I'd do another Sunday night update on the progress of the party machine. So here's what we got done this week. I guess I'll start with the finish. We got the wood walnut finished up this week. It's actually a little tacky still. I just put the finish coat on this afternoon. Again, these handles over here, they're a handle if you reach your fingers up on the top to pull on the metal. Of course, you can't see the metal. It's covered by the wood, so you don't actually see it, but it's a sturdy handle. And it also dubs as the step. So you step 1 foot here, another foot in there, third step on top, same thing on the other side to get up. Once the finish is dry, the whole, you won't see this edge grain of this plywood here. It'll get covered with a black, kind of like a picture frame, screwed on piece of plastic to finish that off. The bottom here will all get painted black. The conduit, which I'll show you what that is in a minute on the other side, will get painted black, as well as these acorn nuts that are actually holding in the bottom of the articulating legs. So if we ever have a problem with one of these legs to go bad or gets damaged, we can undo those 2 nuts, pull the leg system completely out, drop in a new leg, put the bolt back in, and it's completely replaceable in the field like that if we ever had to. Also got your iPad holder in, bought a nice metal one, adjustable to any iPad size with a case or not with a case, so that'll be real nice for you, completely swivel adjustable to any place you want. We also put a USB-C and USB-A port here, so you got one of each on this side, and then over here on this side you've got 3 USB-As, and then you said you wanted a couple outlets, or at least one outlet. I found this had 2 outlets in it, so now you've got that. As you know, we're working on the keyboards next. The upper tier, we're still kind of figuring out the best way to do the upper tier so that you've got the best flexibility of buying different boards over time, but also having easy removability. Like if you get to a gig where you can't use the party machine, or you just want to take them out and use them separately, we want to just have it sitting in there, kind of like they are today in your existing one, where you can grab each board, unplug them, use them elsewhere, bring them back, drop them in, plug them in, just as simple as that. But also, the organ isn't going to be as wide as the piano, so we're expecting to still make use of this side on the upper tier next to the organ with some sort of a flat shelf to put keys, beer, iPad, whatever else you want to store here, cell phone on the side, and of course be able to charge it there. So still thinking through that, but we know it's going to be a Nord Electro 4 or 5. They're the same size on the top, and then of course your Korg SV2 on the bottom. The lid is not built yet, although it's cut out. It's sitting right here. It'll get mounted, and then it'll kind of come out here and cover to the front, get cut out just a little bit to cove back, kind of like your existing one is, and then it'll cove back out to catch this leg on this side. And that'll give you a little bit more reachability to the knobs and the keys, of course, on the top of the organ. The piano, I think I mentioned in the last video, will actually also be mounted in a ratcheting drawer slide. So if need be, maybe you buy a different kind of a keyboard, maybe you want to see more of that vertical panel on the SV2 that might be a little bit dark or hidden under the organ, you'll be able to pull the piano out in 1-inch locking increments up to 12 inches so that you got more, depth to manage the 2 tiers of the keyboards the way you want. So as I said, the top will get mounted on here. This is the control box for the legs. We saw that in the last video. That'll get mounted upside down and hidden in this space. So when the whole thing is built, we'll go around the back here and show you the back. It'll look just basically like a finished B3 organ box. Nobody will know it's got surprises inside, or looks like or is a party machine actually. This gap right here, when the top is on, will have a skirt, just a little trim piece, a skirt piece that goes all the way around the top to cover that gap. And it'll also be walnut, so it'll look like just a finished top on the top of the rig. Completely unsuspecting of anybody in the audience, you know, that the thing goes crazy. It'll look just completely normal. The logo, of course, in the last video you saw that. It's looking great now that the finish is on. So that came out awesome. Okay, let's look inside. So inside here, plenty of power strip access for other things. There's your two DIs. They go out the back with your two stereo left, rights for the two keyboards, come down this piece of conduit. Again, that'll get painted black later, and then end up terminating right here in this little panel. And I'll put a label on them so we know which one is the piano left, right, organ left, right. And then you've got 2/4 inch jacks that'll be used for probably like a Leslie switch for the organ and a sustain pedal for the piano. You just plug in your sustain pedal right there. So that's where the DIs are. Then we have these fancy schmancy LED floods. There's one on each side that kind of point up at an angle, this way and this way. And they are on a refrigerator switch. There's a little switch wired right up over here. And so when the lid is all the way down, as it is, the lights are off, just like in your refrigerator. But as soon as you start to lift up, then the craziness happens. The lights will turn on. You can preset them to do whatever you want, and they will always do that, so you don't even have to worry about it. Right now, they're preset to just flash, like random colors, which is kind of cool. But they could be preset to be red. You can actually control it from your phone in real time, or anybody in the band or the audience could. And then lastly, there's a remote, which I just stuck in here in a bag so you won't lose it. But that's kind of worst case. So they'll always turn on and do something that was the last thing they were on with, or you can, as I said, control them from your phone. Also tucked in here is a nearly industrial strength fog machine. And that will be wired with this little blue wire to this little handy dandy arcade button that, as I showed in the last video, these arcade buttons are what will be the things you step on in the lid to get the unit here to raise to the 4 different presets of height. And then there'll be a 5th button, this one, which will activate the fog machine. And as long as your toe is pressed on this, this thing will pump out just a column of smoke coming up out of that U-joint, which gives a really cool effect as you're going up on the lift. Of course, the lights will come on immediately, and then at any point in time you're ready, you take your toe and step on that other button on the top, and you'll just get this massive column of smoke blowing up that'll hit the bottom, of course, and then disperse all out and give a really cool effect with the lights and everything. So that'll be fun to play with. I can go ahead and run it up and actually show you that. Let me just get it over here out of the way. These are the other buttons you'll have on the top, as I just mentioned, that are the 4 different presets. And I'm going to wire those right off of this factory controller for the 4 presets. So if I hit like this preset right here, it's going to move. As you see there, it's moving up. Oh, so I didn't show you over here. What happened is as soon as the refrigerator light switch went open, it turned on the lights. And so now you see the lid raised up and the lights are flashing. It raised up to 12.5 inches. If I hit this preset button, which again you would do with your toe, hitting one of these arcade buttons in the top here, then it's going to go all the way up. I think this one goes up to 25. Yeah, 25.5 inches. So now you're that tall. And of course, as I said, one of the other arcade buttons would be, the other control box for the factory control box for the fog machine is here. Obviously you can't reach this when you're standing up there, hence why we're going to give you that arcade button up here to step on to play with the fog machine. But you can set with this unit here how much fog you want to put out, because again, it puts out a lot. So its output can be dialed down to whatever amount of output that you want. And then if I hit this manual button here, it can run continuous or on a timer, as you can see here. I'll just give you a sense of what it does. If I can back up a little bit and hit this. If I can reach it here, hold on a second. I'm having a hard time holding my phone and hitting the button here at the same time. There we go. So there you see that massive amount of smoke that it just pours out of there. And of course the lid will be on, so it won't just shoot clear through the lid like it's doing right now and filling my shop. So it'll kind of hit the bottom of the lid, and it'll act like that's kind of what's pushing you up, kind of like you got an exhaust going as the lid's going up. And then one of your last preset buttons would be to get yourself back down all the way. So if I hit that one, then as you're coming down, you can do more fog if you'd like, you know. You can see the nice colors the fog makes with the lights. And as soon as you get down all the way, the lights will automatically just shut off. There you go. And then of course, whatever fog gets trapped in here as it continues to bleed a little bit will just kind of stay in here, or maybe it'll evaporate. Not really sure, but the idea would be if you ever do it, you know, the next time you go to lift up, you'd have a little bit of fog maybe to start with if it was already ran once. So that's it. We're getting there. We'll probably have the lid on next week, maybe next Sunday's video. I'll be able to show you that with the lid on and a couple of the keyboard drawers in. We don't have a whole lot left to do. We're going to give it a nice black sanding and paint on the bottom part as the very last thing, because as we're moving it around in here, we're stepping on it and dinging it up. So that'll be one of the last things we do. But we're definitely going to be getting ready for you before the first part of April. So if you're in town early, we'd probably even have it by mid-March if you needed. So okay, see you guys.